let's quickly just review what we just talked about. First, governmental auditing is not like commercial auditing. Why? Because governmental auditing does not just emphasize the accuracy of the financial statements, but it does what also? Compliance with laws and regulations, right? Secondly, governmental auditing is not just generally accepted auditing standards, but it's also GAGAS or governmental auditing standards, which are on top of that. Okay. Thirdly, you need to know what those additional standards are. And there are the three general standards and the reporting standards. You saw those different types of standards. Independence and materiality are important considerations. Then I talked about the single audit. Single audit is done to make the audit process efficient. So instead of doing an audit by program, you now have an audit which is carried out on an entity-wide basis. The trigger is what? $500,000 or more being spent, right? As an auditor, you use a risk-based approach, which takes all the programs you have and divide them into two, type A and type B, but you always pick the high-risk programs. In all cases, it has to be at least what? 50%. There is, I didn't tell you this earlier, there is a provision that if you are considered a low-risk auditee, if you're considered a low-risk auditee, that 50% can go down to 25%. And you'll see that mentioned. I'm sorry I didn't mention that to you before. So if you're a low-risk auditee, you only need to do 25% of that. Okay, so that's kind of this topic. Let's do one thing, because I just want to make sure you get this topic down. It won't take us that long. I just want to go through a couple of multiple choice questions. Any questions on this, by the way? All right, let's just take a quick look at these questions for a moment. And so a little bit about the exam. We'll have 50 multiple choice questions. Okay. I didn't want somebody to take that at face value, okay? So we'll have 50 multiple choice questions. I have them drawn equally from the 5 chapters. Okay. I just did the test, okay? So I have them drawn from the 5, no journal entry questions, okay? No journal entry questions. What is the exam on? Concepts, knowing. For instance, the last thing which I'm not going to give you the question, but for instance, single audit. Why do governments do single audit? What's the purpose? What does it do? It brings efficiency into the process. So conceptual questions like that, okay? And yes, it's like maybe a couple of addition and subtractions, not, 2 numbers subtracting one from the other. That's it. But I will have calculators here for those of you. No, there are not a lot of. There are less than 5 questions like that, if there were. Yes? No journal entries for this question. If it shows up, come up and ask me, okay? I don't think so. Hold on one second. Yeah, I made up a little checklist for myself just to make sure it was reasonable.
Just the test?
Yeah, that's my list of topics. in the, okay, nothing that I see. The what? No, those are the real questions themselves. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I will send it to you right after the semester's over. No, I'm just No, I actually did it individually. I wanted to make sure they were broad-based. But we'll talk about it, okay? All right, so so you got that. The exam is going to be held in Bove Auditorium, room 220. So we have a little bit more room there, okay? And it will start promptly at 1. As I said, we'll use the same format, okay? And what other things did I miss? 50 questions. I told you about concepts equally drawn from each of the chapters. Okay, let's just quickly take a look at, if I think of anything else, take a look at the first question. This is the hierarchy question. No, you don't have to use the clickers for this. We're just going to go through. Okay. So, and this is kind of a review. As you review the text, you'll see that there are basically, who issues the generally accepted auditing standards? Who's responsible for that? FASB does the standards, right? So AICPA is involved with what? With the auditing standards themselves. So the answer, actually that first question wasn't on our hierarchy. It's in the book, but wasn't on that slide. The first answer is part D, but let's take a look at question 2, which is more something that we covered. The answer to the first question is D, as in dog. 2. An adverse opinion. What do you think that is? How many say B or D? Remember, I'm not asking about qualified opinion, I'm asking for adverse opinion. Remember when I said the CPA has gone crazy, the CFO has gone crazy? Okay. The answer really there is D. The government issues inaccurate financial statements. Number 3, which of the following is true statement about the relationship between GAGAS and GAAS? And the correct answer is B. They encompass and supplements, it adds to these standards. Let's take a look at one of my favorite questions. Goal of a performance audit is to do what? Number 5. Actually, you know what? All of them sound good. So the answer is D. And now the question 6. What do you think that is? Materiality is determined at what level? The answer is A, at the opinion level. Yes, 5 was D. D, yes. 4 was C. Did I miss C? Oh, I did miss 4. Okay, C. All right, you can take, as I said, you know what, we need to keep on moving here. So what we're going to do is, what do you think we should do? Take a break now or start off with the presentation? 5-minute break. Okay, but please come back and then we'll get started.